Today we are going to learn how to do travel time. Now I will warn you right now, there is math involved. It can be pretty tricky for some people, and so I would just advise you to go slow, check yourself over and over again, double check yourself, triple check yourself, because sometimes uh, even people who are very confident in math can get a little tripped up on stuff like this. So just make sure you're going slow, make sure you're checking yourself. Now, you're going to need two things. Thing number one is going to be your 80 days packet. Some of you have retained your physical copy, and that's good, and you can use that one. But for those of you who would like a digital copy or who have lost your physical copy, um, you have been emailed this packet, and then you could also find it in my resource tab of my website. So for the information we need, we're going to go to the third page on this packet where it says transportation costs. Now, for our actual purposes today, we're not looking at costs, but this page just gives us the information we need, which is the speed of particular vehicles, which we need to get travel time. Because if you want travel time, you're going to need two pieces of information. Those two pieces of information are distance and speed. We have speed right here, and hopefully you have distance. If you kept that piece of paper that you created a little bit ago that has your list of all of your countries and the distance between them, then you are good to go. If you do not have that piece of paper, you're just going to have to calculate or not really calculate, get the distance again. Because distance over speed is going to give you travel time. Distance over speed equals travel time. So for me, I don't actually have the distance because I didn't fill out that piece of paper. So I'm just going to do it in front of you. First one, San Francisco to Mexico City. So maybe this might be a good reminder for some of you. All I need to do is put distance, Mexico City, San Francisco. I should have done it the other way, but it's distance. It won't change anything. And I'm going to put in miles. In miles is always a good idea because that's ultimately what you want it in. I would ignore this Google thing because it's driving and you're not driving. Most of these websites, including this one, is going to give you two distances. One of them is going to be driving. That's like an actual road, like actual roads and freeways and things. You don't need to worry about that because you're not really driving. In this case, I'm going to fly, and you see I got a line here. You'll notice the line is not straight, and that is because we have a spherical Earth, and so a line on a flat screen is going to look curved. I should also note that depending on what link you click on, you might get different terminology. Here it just says distance and shows you a straight line. You might see a weird terminology that says as the crow flies. Crows fly in straight lines, so it's just the same thing. It's just a straight line. And so I have here distance 1,888 miles. So I'm going to remember that. I'm going to put it in my calculator. 1,888 miles. Now for me, the first vehicle I'm going to do, the first mode of transportation is going to be an airplane. If I go here, it tells me that airplanes go 500 miles an hour. So what I have is the distance and the speed. Distance over speed equals travel time. So 1,888 divided by 500 is going to get me 3.776. For later calculations, it's just going to be easiest for us to round to the nearest half hour. So if I didn't round to the nearest half hour and say I rounded to the nearest 15 minutes, this would be 3 hours and 45 minutes. But that's going to get more and more complicated the further we go. So we're just going to round to the nearest half hour, and we're going to call that 4 hours. So I'm going to put in 4 hours. And I actually have the vehicle here too, so that's good. I'm going to put airplane. So did I spell it wrong? Except for I'm going to spell it correctly. So I now have filled out this kind of first portion up until today at least. I would not do the arrival day and time and the leaving day and time if I were you. You'll probably do it wrong. So I would wait until I show you how to do that. So moving right along, my next trip is to Cape Town, South Africa. So in this case, I could just go to the same website and put in Cape Town, which is also called Western Cape, and it will show you on the map what that looks like. Larger curve because it's a larger amount of space, or you can just re-Google it again, whatever you want. But I have 8,514, which I'm going to put in my calculator. 8,514. I'm going to take an airplane again, and so I'm going to go 500 miles an hour again. And that is going to give me 17, which we're going to call 17 hours. So all I need to do is go 17 hours. And again, I'm going by airplane. Okay, I am going to show you one more. And this one I want to do a little bit differently. And so I'm actually going to go from Cape Town, South Africa, all the way up to Berlin, Germany, using a train. Now, as we'll see in a moment, in reality, that probably would not happen. Once you see this, you could see you kind of have to go right over the Mediterranean. Which there is no train track that goes over the Mediterranean like that. In fact, there's no train track that just runs straight up Africa like that. But for our purposes, it would just be silly to find actual train tracks. And so on some things like this, I will allow you to do some things that are kind of outside of reality. Now, I don't want you like taking a train all the way across the Atlantic Ocean or something like that. But something like this, where there is a lot of land, I will go ahead and allow a train track like this. Or let's say if you wanted to take a boat, but the place you were going to is a little inland, I'll allow that as well. So anyway, this is 5,982. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. 5,982. However, this time I am not dividing it by 500 because I'm taking a train, so I'm dividing it by 50, which is going to give me a pretty large number. Now, I am kind of okay if you leave it at this. Some students like to do the math and figure out the days, which is also good. Whichever one you want, I'm fine with. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to put in the hours, and I'm going to round that to the half. So I'm going to put that 119 hours and 30 minutes. I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to underline it to look the way that I want it to look. And then I said that that was going to be a train. Okay, now that's as far as I'm going to go because I feel like I've showed you how to do it 3 times now. But ultimately, you would go all the way to the end. Now, I should tell you, when you get to the end, the trick here is to go backwards, essentially, and that will be easier for me to show you once you have all of the information. So I would go to number 8, and then I would stop, and then I will show you later how to come back at an exact time. So Um, Let me know if you have any questions. And this might be something you want to do in different spurts. For some of us, like myself, who don't really like math, you may not want to do this all at one time. It can be overwhelming. So maybe do this, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes at a time. Take your time. It's not due anytime soon. So please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.